Hi, I'm Dr. Marc Reynolds, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. The video of today is I'm going to be reacting to, teaching about, and analyzing a compilation of BTS and their high notes and falsettos. Here we go. I want to point out right there, one of the things that we'll notice also with tension here in our neck and our throat as we're going to high notes is the tendency of people wanting to kind of push their head forward, kind of turtle their head forward. And though that's a really great tip if you're doing a photo shoot, because it gets rid of this double chin and looks a lot better even though it feels weird, not so great for the singing. It creates tension in there and problems that we don't want so much. You'll see here that he's keeping that neck relatively relaxed. It's not pushing way far forward, and consequently this neck is relatively relaxed. We're not seeing any big signs of tension in there. Really love it. Does that mean that by not turtling, we need to keep our head back here and stiff and rigid? No. We want it to be able to be free and relaxed to move. But turning our head forward is not a relaxed position that actually lets us move a lot either, as is locking our head back way back here. But finding that nice balanced lined up position is really helpful to keeping tension out of that vocal mechanism. Look at that jaw, nice and relaxed and released. Nice posture, nice and lined up. Higher notes, but no sign of stress or push or tension there. Okay, that was kind of a middle point where the sound wasn't placed super far back, but it wasn't really far forward either. And it was on the more aspirate side, meaning he was letting more volume of air out without super firm chord closure. That placement was more kind of up this direction if you think of things that way. And by placement, we mean where we're setting that sound or where we're feeling vibration or kind of that buzz happening. Again, it's just a way of thinking of singing, but try it. Try imagining that you're trying to get it buzz right up here in your eyes. Then you want it to get really buzzy right kind of on those front teeth. Try getting it to be buzzy right here at the base of your skull, at the back of your neck. Just by imagining those, it's going to shift a bunch of things and let your subconscious multitask and create a different sound in your body. That's what we mean by placement. It's just a way of giving our subconscious cues to let it do things that otherwise might take longer to really get each element into place. Here, that's one of the things that's different. It's kind of in this middle place, which is really nice. It's not really soft and swallowed. It's not really bright and pinging forward. It's just a nice middle ground that's pleasant to listen to. Okay, really cool there. We got to see a bunch of their throats sitting there. And you'll notice that a lot of them are singing with this higher larynx position. At the beginning of that, we heard a warmer, richer sound that if we were singing the throat in that moment, I think you'd notice that this larynx was sitting lower in that moment. But the rest of these larynx, but for the rest of these, as we're watching here, the larynx is sitting relatively high. Is that good or bad? That's arguable depending on who you talk to. In this moment, I'm going to suggest that it's not bad. I'm not seeing a bunch of stress and strain here in the voice, especially when we're singing with a mic and singing with this pop style. It's going to get us a sound that we associate more with pop. It gives us a totally different timbre and quality to the sound and voice that works really awesome with pop. It gives us a more youthful sound that isn't as complex, isn't as rich, isn't as full, which is exactly what we're wanting here in this moment. But try it. Try singing with letting that larynx rise really high. See what it does to the sound. See what happens when you yawn and keep that larynx in a lower position. And see how that changes the sound. Something we need to be aware of, though, is that when we're singing in a style, especially if we're wanting the sound to stay consistent, that larynx position needs to stay relatively consistent. If it's changing and jumping up and down all over the place, that sound is going to be really all over the map. If that's what we want, great. But for most of the time, that's not what we want. Most of the time, we want that larynx position to stay relatively stable. Does that mean it has to stay absolutely rock solid in the same place all the time? No. But if you're singing with that lowered larynx position, it needs to stay relatively close in that lowered place or otherwise in other positions as well. Okay, singing that higher register, keeping that airflow really consistent, not seeing a lot of tension here. We are turtling our head forward just a little bit, but is that causing tension here? No, maybe a little on these strap muscles where we're going to see some tension there, but the sound is relatively easy, consistent, free, speech-like, really, really gorgeous. Each of these tools that we're giving you here aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, and if you don't do it perfectly, that it's going to mess everything up. Instead, think of them as tools that you can use to keep getting that voice easier and easier, easier and easier. It's a continuum that we're working towards, not a matter of you're in the right or you're in the wrong. Just keep working towards progressing and getting better and better. Slow down. Both those clips there demonstrated the upper two smile and this open ass space in the back really excellently. We got this really clear, clean forward sound. Sweet. What do we mean by upper two smile? Well, when we see a lot of the top performers performing, you're going to notice that this top row of teeth come out, just like they're making a big toothy smile. Try it. See what it does. Then the ass space. Imagine that you're yawning and smiling at the same time without it showing necessarily up here in front. But that smile is here in the back. That's what we mean by that ass space, or say hat, right? We've talked about it in a bunch of other videos. Excellent demonstration of that going on here. So question for you. Why on a lot of these high notes do they either crunch forward and look down like that, or do they tilt back and look up like that? Well, it might be technique or something like that. It might do something for them vocally. But I'd argue that it's more a emotional, physical acting type of thing, where it's either like a scream or yell when they're leaning back because they're feeling such strong emotions, or the emotions are so intense and painful or causing them to kind of collapse in that they're collapsing in. Be careful that as we're watching these top performers, you're able to distinguish what's acting and emoting and communicating and what's vocal technique. They can be really confusing, and there is overlap. They can influence each other in good and bad ways. So our goal here is to make sure that we are trying to choose acting and technique choices that are facilitating good technique and healthy habits. But our technique shouldn't limit our acting. We should be able to use both to really influence each other so that we create the best result, so our acting's excellent and our singing at the same time. Three exercises that you can use to kind of get that forward whiny placement. One is doing either on notes that you're singing or on just a scale. Meow, meow. Trying to keep it as buzzing forward as you can, right? Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meh, really buzzy. Number two exercise that you can do is an NG sound with that jaw release and that tongue release. Then you can release it. Next one I want you to try is nya. Nya, 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 nya. And really make sure you're feeling that buzz right up here in these sinus areas. Then as you start singing, try to keep that buzzy feeling from bottom to top of your voice and see what happens. Okay, how do we get this kind of falsetto sound that we're talking about here, the one we traditionally associate with falsetto? Do it on a whoo vowel really high. Whoo, whoo. That ooh is going to help us stay placed further back. That whoo sound is going to make it sound more aspirate, keep a high volume of air traveling through those vocal folds. So you're going to get that more aspirate, falsetto-y, soft sound in there. Up to smile, see that?
Take my hands now. You are the cause of my euphoria. 저기 저 꽃잎들처럼 날개 단 것처럼 흔한데.
Awesome demonstration. He starts with this back place that's softer, more aspirate, and then pulls it right forward, speeds up that air, and we get this nice, clean, crisp sound up front that is then more consistent. Now, that's one of the things that I think is misleading about falsetto. It makes us think that it's a false sound, that it's a sound that's not acceptable, not usable. It's just like any other part of our voice. If we can use it and use it healthily and keep it easy, if there's a time that fits in the music, fits in the storytelling, use it. By all means, especially when we're dealing with pop and rock and we have this microphone. There's even times in opera where it's great. Opera's a little tricky though, because we're not singing with mics and we're having to sing usually over a huge orchestra in this big hall with no mics. And so a lot of these ideas of what's good and healthy singing really originates in terms of operatic training, where if you were to make certain sounds in the opera world, it wouldn't be heard, which would mean it's not usable, which means that it's not good technique. It means that it wouldn't be heard over an orchestra, which means it's not usable, which means it's bad. Or it's a sound that didn't fit the aesthetic or the emotion of the storytelling of the style, in which case it's not good technique and it's bad. But that's really specific for that style and genre. When we go back over to pop and things that have mics and it's no illusion, they're right there and that's just part of the performance style, then we really need to take a step back, strip away some of those preconceptions and think, can I make those sounds easy here without causing tension, without causing pain or distress on my voice? If so, then we want to open up all those colors and make them usable. because the more colors, the more variety, the more options we have, the better storyteller, the better communicator we're going to be. It's just more colors on our color palette that we can use. So that's where a lot of that confusion comes from. And it makes it really hard for new singers to be able to distinguish, well, am I doing it right or wrong? For now, if you're singing, make your decisions based on, is it easy here? Is it comfortable? Is it making it easier to sing higher and lower notes? Am I getting a wider range of colors and timbre? Is it allowing me to be more expressive? Things like that are going to be most important right now. Then as you're going, you'll want to work with someone who can really help you make sure that that sound is appropriate to the style and technique. Don't forget to check out the Amino app and look me up there. Don't forget to check me out on Scaleabout. It's a great way to get a quick personalized response from me or to see if we might be a good fit for lessons. And of course, if you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier or perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartsstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.